When I try to explain my story, the words feel thin and strange, as if they belong to someone else, a character in a sad book left open and forgotten on a nightstand. But this is my life. My name is Mira. I have always liked things simple. I teach piano to children and sometimes to adults in a quiet room at the back of my apartment. I live alone, in a neighborhood where the trees are old and the mornings come gently. My days move softly, like a slow song. I have never been someone who needs much. My piano, a few close friends, the children who come to learn scales and simple melodies, and my family, my parents, now living far away, and my cousin, Sana. She is not just my cousin. She is my first friend, my childhood partner in crime, my once inseparable other half. We grew up together, sharing secrets, clothes, and dreams in the long, lazy summers of our childhood. We always promised we would never let anything come between us. But sometimes, life doesn't ask for your permission before it changes everything. And sometimes, the thing that comes between you is not a big fight or a betrayal, but a quiet, unstoppable tide. His name was Arjun. Arjun entered my life without warning. It was a winter afternoon, the kind where the sun makes weak promises and the air smells faintly of wood smoke. I was sitting at my window, trying to write music, when my phone buzzed. Sana's voice came tumbling out, bright and breathless. "Come to the cafe on Willow Street. You have to meet someone." I hesitated. I almost said no. But her laughter, still so familiar, pulled me out the door and down the street, my hands stuffed deep in my coat pockets, my thoughts still full of half-finished melodies. The cafe was small, golden with lamplight, filled with the hush of old books and the clatter of spoons against mugs. Sana waved to me from a corner table, and beside her sat a man I did not know. He stood up when he saw me. He was tall, with thick, dark hair that fell a little over his eyes. His smile was hesitant, shy around the edges, but warm. "Hi. I'm Arjun," he said. We shook hands. His hand was cool and steady. He seemed at ease next to Sana, whose energy filled every corner of the little cafe. She was telling a story, one of her endless, funny, half-true stories, and he was listening with a smile that said he already knew her style, already liked it. I sat down, feeling, without knowing why, a ripple in the air. Sana introduced us, and soon we were all laughing together, the way you do when you are young and the world feels like a safe place. Afterwards, I told myself he was just another of Sana's friends, someone passing through. But that night, as I tried to sleep, I kept remembering his laugh, the way his eyes crinkled at the corners when he smiled, the way he listened. He started coming around more after that. He and Sana would stop by my apartment after work. Sometimes we would order food and sit on the floor with old movies playing, or we'd go for long walks along the riverside. I was always the quieter one. I watched them, Sana, bright as a firework, and Arjun, calm and attentive, who seemed to notice everything. One night, as Sana went to make more tea, Arjun looked at me. "You're different when it's quiet," he said softly. "You seem happier." I shrugged, embarrassed. "I like the quiet. It helps me think." He smiled. "I like it too." It was a small thing, but I felt it, the recognition of someone else who understands the hush at the center of things. Time went on. I did not notice the shift at first. How could I? Sana and Arjun grew close, as I knew they would. She started to mention him more and more. Arjun said this. Arjun made me laugh today. Arjun knows the best place for coffee. I listened, and I smiled, and sometimes, when I was alone, I let myself think about the way his eyes lingered on me during those movie nights, or how he always sat next to me, even when there was space elsewhere. But I pushed those thoughts away. He was Sanaa's friend. Sanaa's, maybe more. Then, one evening in late spring, Arjun called me. Not Sanaa, just me. Are you busy? He asked. His voice was tentative. I hesitated, then said, no, not really. Why? I wanted to talk. Can I come by? He arrived carrying a brown paper bag of samosas and 2 cans of ginger ale. We sat at my kitchen table, eating in companionable silence. After a while, he said, sometimes, I don't know where I belong. I looked at him. What do you mean? He shrugged. With Sanaa, everything is bright and loud. It's fun. But sometimes, I want to just sit quietly and, I don't know, not be anything special. I understood. I felt the same way most days. He smiled at me, a soft, tired smile. With you, I feel like I can just be myself. I wanted to say something true and gentle, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, I offered him another samosa. We sat in silence. Sometimes, silence is the best conversation. After that night, things changed between us, even if nothing was said. Arjun would message me sometimes, little things, a song he thought I'd like, a photo of an old piano he saw in a shop window, a poem he'd found. When we were all together, me, Sanaa, and Arjun, I felt the tension beneath the laughter. I tried to ignore it. One evening, Sanaa told me, I think Arjun likes me. Really likes me. I smiled and hugged her, but my heart squeezed painfully. He would be lucky, I said. A few weeks later, they became a couple. Sanaa was so happy. She would call me every night, telling me all the sweet things Arjun did for her. I listened, and I tried to be happy for her. For a long time, I convinced myself I was. But then the dreams started. Dreams where Arjun was sitting beside me at the piano, his fingers moving over the keys, his shoulder touching mine. Dreams where he would look at me, not with the easy friendliness of a friend, but with something else, something hungry, something soft. I woke from those dreams feeling guilty, even ashamed. I tried to put distance between us. I made excuses when Sanaa invited me out with them. I buried myself in my music, in my teaching. But Arjun noticed. One day, he texted me, "Are you okay? Did I do something wrong?" I stared at the screen, unsure how to answer. "No. I'm just busy. That's all," I typed. But it was a lie. And he knew it. Months passed. Sanaa and Arjun grew even closer. He started spending nights at her place. I saw them less and less. Sometimes, late at night, I would see his name light up my phone, but I never answered. I didn't trust myself. Then, one Sunday morning, Sanaa called me, crying. He proposed. He actually proposed, she sobbed, tears of happiness in her voice. We're getting married, Mira. I'm going to be his wife. I congratulated her. I said all the right words. But when the call ended, I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my hands, feeling like I'd missed a step in the dark. The wedding was in the summer. It was beautiful, all wildflowers and laughter, Sana glowing with happiness, Arjun at her side. He looked handsome, a little nervous, his eyes scanning the crowd. When he saw me, he smiled, a private, quiet smile that made my stomach twist. I danced, I laughed, I tried to be present. But inside, I felt hollowed out, like a house after the party is over and everyone has gone home. After the wedding, I didn't see them for a long time. I focused on my students, my music, my little routines. Sometimes, I would get a message from Arjun, just a hello, or a photo of something he thought I'd find funny. I answered, but always kept it brief. But one evening, almost a year after the wedding, my phone rang. Arjun. I let it ring. Then it rang again and again. Finally, I picked up. Hello? There was silence, then his voice, low and shaky. Mira? I just needed to hear your voice. I closed my eyes. Is everything okay? He sighed. I don't know. I feel lost, sometimes. Even with Sana. Especially with Sana, lately. I didn't know what to say. Can I come over? He asked. My heart pounded. I wanted to say no. I wanted to protect myself. But I couldn't. Okay, I whispered. When he arrived, he looked tired. Not just from lack of sleep, but tired deep inside, like he was carrying something heavy. We sat in my living room. He didn't say much. After a while, he reached out and took my hand. His touch was gentle, searching. Do you ever think about us? He asked, voice trembling. My breath caught. There is no us, I said, almost too quietly. He squeezed my hand. Maybe not. But sometimes, I wish there was. We sat in silence, the air thick with things unspoken. He left before midnight, after a long hug that said more than words ever could. After that, he started calling more often. Always late at night, always when he thought no one else would know. We talked about everything and nothing, music, memories, fears, regrets. Sometimes he would say, I miss you. Sometimes I would let myself say, I miss you too. But it never went further. Not really. I knew I could not be the reason he left Sana. I would not do that to her, not even for him. Still, I waited for his calls. I told myself I was strong, that I could keep my feelings safe. But some nights, when the city was quiet and the only light was the blue glow of my phone, I wondered if I was lying to myself. Then, one evening, Sana called me. Her voice was tense, brittle. Are you and Arjun okay? My heart skipped. What do you mean? She sighed. He's been distant. He stays up late, always texting someone. He says it's work, but I know it's not. Mira, is there something I should know? Panic rose in me. No. Of course not. But my voice didn't sound like my own. Sana was silent. Then, softly, promise me you'd tell me if there was. I promised. I wanted to believe it. But the calls continued. Arjun needed me, at least, that's what he said. "You're the only one who really understands me," he would whisper as if it was a secret. "With you, I don't have to pretend." Sometimes I wondered if he was telling Sana the same thing. One night, after a long conversation about nothing in particular, he said, "If things were different, do you think we could have been happy?" I wanted to tell him yes. I wanted to rewrite the story to give us a happier ending. But I couldn't. "We don't live in that world, Arjun," I said quietly. He didn't answer. For a long time, we listened to the silence together. Seasons changed. Sana and Arjun bought a small apartment together. She sent me pictures, her in the kitchen, laughing, Arjun in the background, looking at her. They looked happy. But sometimes, when I looked closely, I saw the shadows under his eyes. One evening, as autumn began to turn the leaves gold, Arjun called me. His voice was softer than usual, almost broken. "Sana's pregnant," he said. I felt the world shift under my feet. "Congratulations," I said, and tried to mean it. He was quiet. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said, "I'm scared, Mira. I don't know if I can do this." I tried to comfort him, but the words felt false, heavy. After we hung up, I sat at my piano and played the same soft notes over and over, until the sky outside turned black. As Sana's belly grew, the calls from Arjun became less frequent. He was busy, he said. Appointments, preparations, painting the nursery. But when he did call, it was always the same, late at night, his voice tired, searching for something I could not give him. I tried to move on. I went on dates. I said yes to new students, filled my days with music and lessons. But nothing filled the space he left behind. Sana invited me to the baby shower. I stood beside her as she opened gifts, her eyes shining. She hugged me, whispered, "Thank you for being here. I don't know what I'd do without you." I smiled and tried not to think about all the things I had not told her. The night the baby was born, Arjun called me from the hospital. "She's here," he said, his voice thick with wonder and exhaustion. "She's beautiful, Mira. She looks just like Sana." I congratulated him. He cried, and for the first time, I felt only sadness. I visited them a week later. The apartment was full of flowers and soft baby things. Sana was radiant, tired but glowing. Arjun held the baby, tiny, perfect, wrapped in a pink blanket, and looked at me with an expression I could not read. When I held the baby, she looked up at me with wide, serious eyes. I felt a strange kind of peace, like the end of a long song. That night, Arjun called me one last time. "I can't keep doing this," he said quietly. "It's not fair. To Sana, to the baby, to you." I agreed. I knew it was true. "I will always care about you, Mira," he said. "But I need to be where I am. I need to try to be happy." I let him go. I let him be someone else's. I still teach piano. I still live in my quiet apartment, on my quiet street. Sometimes, on soft evenings, I walk by the river and remember the way things used to be. I think of Arjun, of Sana, of all the words left unsaid. I think about how sometimes love is not a song with a happy ending, but a gentle, lingering note, a memory that stays, long after the music has faded. I am learning to be at peace with that. I am learning that sometimes loving someone means letting them go and loving yourself enough to stay. And every now and then, when the world is quiet, my phone lights up with a message. Hi, Mira. Just checking in. Hope you're well. I smile. I answer. And then I put the phone down and return to my music, because sometimes all you can do is let the song play out, one note at a time.